Coverage you can count on. This is WAAY 31 News at 4.
I'm Storm Tracker Chief Meteorologist Taylor Canoes. Nothing but cloud cover for most of North Alabama today, keeping temperatures much cooler than they've been recently. I'll let you know if we can expect this chilly weather to stick around on Thanksgiving coming up.
While the holiday season is this time usually for fun and joy, some people struggle with mental health issues. We're bringing you a live report on how to get help coping with the holidays. Plus, a surprise plea deal for a triple murder suspect, Carson Peters, what the Morgan County District Attorney is saying about recent developments. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us for WAAY 31 News at 4. I'm Dan Schaefer on this Thanksgiving Eve. Murray Waxel has the evening off. A mostly cloudy day, as you can see here, but they are starting to break up out to the west. Certainly a chillier day. Let's get right to Storm Tracker Chief Meteorologist Taylor Canoes with your Thanksgiving Eve forecast. Hey, Taylor.
That's right, Dan. If you take a look out toward Muscle Shoals, they're getting sunshine right now. So at least a few of us in North Alabama getting that late day sun. But as I mentioned yesterday, most of us socked in the cloud cover through the afternoon from Huntsville through Decatur over through Guntersville, and that has kept us awfully cool today, especially compared to the past several days. Most of North Alabama stuck in the 40s this afternoon. It's a chilly 44 in Fort Payne, 47 in Huntsville, and 47 in Decatur at the moment. 40s are where we'll stay for the next several hours. Then eventually we fall to the 30s later on tonight. I'm expecting the cloud cover to clear out later this evening. Clear skies, light winds, the perfect combination for those temperatures to drop. So forecast lows for the entire area are in the low to mid 30s tonight, down to 31 in Hazel Green and in Athens, 32 in Rogersville, and down to 34. Overnight tonight in Russellville. With these colder temperatures, we could have some frost out there, including on your windshield early in the day tomorrow. But I'm also going to be watching the potential for areas of fog. If we get fog where the temperatures drop near or below freezing, then we may have freezing fog that could cause at least isolated slick spots around the area. I'll have a look ahead to your entire Thanksgiving forecast, which will improve by the afternoon, coming up in about 10 minutes.
Thanks, Taylor. You can keep track of the weather by downloading the WAAY 31 Storm Tracker weather app. You'll get the latest weather updates with 31 Triple Doppler. It's free weather coverage you can count on. We are following breaking news this hour. Police investigating a deadly vehicle explosion at the U.S.-Canada border crossing at the Rainbow Bridge at Niagara Falls. 2 people are dead. Border security now being tightened. ABC's Rena Roy has details.
A massive police presence at the U.S.-Canada border along the Rainbow Bridge near Niagara Falls. FBI agents leading the investigation into a fatal explosion on the U.S. side.
Anytime a piece of infrastructure as important to Canada and the United States, like a border crossing, sees this kind of violent circumstance, it's a source of concern for the government of Canada and for the United States.
You can see remnants of a car, charred metal, and smoke rising into the air. Sources tell ABC News that investigators discovered a suitcase or briefcase on scene, the bomb squad handling the package. Sources also saying the vehicle was seen on surveillance footage, stopped at an initial security checkpoint before speeding up and crashing into the second checkpoint. It's unclear what caused the explosion.
This is an evolving situation. Information is coming into Canadian authorities from their American counterparts, literally minute by minute.
Authorities shutting down the bridge along with others in the area.
We will continue to be engaged. We will provide updates. Updates I can give right now is there are 4 border crossings that are right now closed.
Local law enforcement also placing canine officers on each of the international bridges. Cars being searched at Buffalo Airport out of an abundance of caution.
New York Governor Kathy Hochul is traveling to the area as the investigation continues. Attorney General Merrick Garland has also been briefed. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
Well, thanks to the rain, North Alabama is no longer under a strict burn ban, but we are still under a fire alert. And that means one-day burn permits will be issued to certain burn managers only. Some counties to our south and east, as you can see, are still under that ban. A triple murderer in Morgan County avoids a death sentence with a plea deal days before the scheduled start of his trial. Carson Peters pleaded guilty in his capital murder case. The plea deal calls for him to serve life in prison without parole. Peters killed his wife, sister-in-law, and her boyfriend in Danville in 2020. Peters shot another woman who survived. District Attorney Scott Anderson says he settled the case after meeting with the surviving victim and the other victims' families.
Once I sat down and analyzed his age and the likelihood of the death penalty being imposed was not great, even if we got the death penalty. then getting closure for them so they can go home and start the healing process was more important.
Coming up all new on WAAY 31 News at 5, you'll hear more of the district attorney's reasoning for this plea deal agreement. New at 4, we are learning about a Homewood police officer charged with sexual assault in Limestone County. Investigators say Officer Ronald Hughes met the victim on the dating app Hinge and traveled from Blount County to the victim's home back in August. After the investigation, a warrant was issued and Hughes turned himself in. He's now out on a $10,000 bond. We'll have more on this incident on WAAY 31 News this evening at 6. A pivotal hostage deal between Israel and Hamas is expected to be put into motion as soon as tomorrow morning. The terms include a 4-day ceasefire to allow the release of hostages held by Hamas in exchange for releasing Palestinians held in Israel. ABC's Justin Finch is tracking developments from Washington.
Missile fire and flares over Gaza City Wednesday. Israel and Hamas militants intensifying attacks as the two sides near the start of a 4-day humanitarian pause. Over that time, Hamas has agreed to release 50 women and children its militants and other groups are holding hostage. And Israel has agreed to release 150 Palestinian women and teenage prisoners. President Biden touting the deal as a testament to diplomacy. The U.S., Egypt, and Qatar helping to broker the agreement, which Hamas says will allow shipments of humanitarian relief, medical aid, and fuel to enter most of Gaza. But some human rights and humanitarian aid agencies are pressing for more.
This is not humanitarian access, it's a joke. 4 days is nothing. I mean, we need more, we need to have access to the population.
Israel has said it's open to extending the pause by 1 extra day for every 10 hostages Hamas releases. In Gaza, hopes for a longer war pause.
We hope it will extend and expand to become a permanent ceasefire so that this terrible war could end.
But Israel's prime minister says the war will not end until Hamas is eliminated and all hostages are returned. This woman waiting for word on her husband and 2 children held captive in Gaza.
I'm very nervous and frustrated, and I'm waiting for news.
The White House says at least 9 Americans and 1 green card holder are among the missing. Several hospitals in Israel are now preparing to treat hostages after their release, including readying special accommodations for them and their families. Justin Finch, ABC News, Washington.
As we enter this holiday season, checking in on your loved ones can be a small gesture that goes a long way. WAAY 31's Paige Meyer looked into how the holidays can affect people struggling with mental health. And Paige joins us live now with what she's learned. Hi, Paige.
Hi, Dan. Yes, that's right. While many of us are cheerful to break in the holiday season, for some, loneliness can come up. Now, the holidays can be a lonely and stressful time of year for people. Now, Karen Peterson with Wellstone here in Huntsville says that mental illness and substance abuse does not take a break over the holidays. Now, the National Alliance of Mental Illness says 64% of people living with a mental illness felt their conditions worsened around the holidays. Peterson says if you don't struggle with mental illness, chances are you know someone who does. The holidays affect everyone differently, and Peterson says sometimes it's hard to tell when even a loved one is going through a tough time.
For some people, holidays are hard. They're with families that maybe have disagreements or, or bring back some bad memories or trigger different responses. So, the holidays aren't all bright and cheery, not for everyone.
Peterson says even people who are surrounded by family can feel alone around the holidays. She says if you're struggling, the best thing you can do is talk about it with someone. Peterson says there are resources right here in North Alabama that can be utilized 365 days a year. Now, if you find yourself in a crisis, you can dial 988 for the Wellstone Emergency Line or contact Wellstone Emergency Services directly. For more information, you can head to our website at WAAYTV.com. Reporting live in Huntsville with coverage you can count on. Paige Meyer, WAAY 31 News.
Coming up, you'll be seeing some familiar bands play during the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade tomorrow morning. We spoke with some of the band directors about this golden opportunity. Plus, more Americans are skipping the stores on Black Friday in favor of online shopping. We're sharing some online shopping tips and tricks in a live report.
For most of the country, the weather is cooperating just fine for holiday travelers this afternoon. I'll walk you through which areas of the country could have a few hiccups over the coming days after the break.
Coverage you can count on. This is WAAY 31 News at 4 with Dan Schaefer, Marie Waxel, and Chief Meteorologist Taylor Knust.
Our hero of the day's salute goes out to Greg Cook. Greg is a sergeant in the U.S. Army with the 10th Mountain Light Infantry Division as a forward observer. His service includes 2 deployments in Afghanistan. He's also a Purple Heart recipient. From all of us here at WAAY 31, thank you, Greg Cook, for your service. A survey by the National Retail Federation found that 58%, almost 3 out of 5 Americans, plan to do some shopping online this holiday season. And the deals won't stop or start with Black Friday or Cyber Monday. Karen Kafa joins us live from Washington to give us some online holiday shopping tips and tricks we could all use and the pitfalls to dodge this season. Hello, Karen.
Hi there, Dan. A lot of consumers will start their Black Friday shopping today. That is if they have not started it already, because retailers have already put those deals online. There are some tricks to getting the most from your money if you decide to shop virtually online this holiday season. The big retail deals used to come just one day a year. Now some come before Black Friday.
Really, the deals are everywhere. They're online, and you can do it all before you eat the Thanksgiving dinner this time.
Bridget Carey tracks online shopping trends for CNET. She says sales will continue all season, but getting a head start may get you the best deals.
What we're seeing right now is that this is where the hottest sales are up until Cyber Monday, but you will start seeing sales still trickle in afterward because of how competitive retailers are right now.
Before diving in, do the research, make a list, and round up coupons, old gift cards, and credit card points that could help save money. And keep multiple browser tabs open while shopping to comparison shop between retailers.
The bottom line is, do a quick Google search. See if what one retailer has is really the lowest price.
Meanwhile, the Better Business Bureau says consumers should use a credit card for online purchases in case suspicious charges need to be contested. If an online seller is unfamiliar, read reviews and look for a legitimate customer service contact. And phishing scams are especially popular during the holidays. Think twice before clicking on a link in an email or a text that appears to be about a delivery issue or an unexpected gift. And the National Retail Federation estimates that 182 million Americans will do some shopping in-store or online during the Thanksgiving weekend. They define that period as the 5 days between Thanksgiving and Cyber Monday. Dan?
Karen, what about buying toys and other children's gifts online for the holidays? Any advice out there to make sure we're getting safe and tested products?
Yeah, safety first for the little ones. And the Consumer Product Safety Commission had some tips on this to start the holiday season. They said especially if you're buying through a third-party seller or an online marketplace you're not familiar with, make sure that you do the homework, do some check of some of the reviews online to make sure that this is a reputable seller. And if it's an item that was maybe on the store shelves a few years ago and it's a second-hand item, make sure that that item is not under recall. Again, do that homework before you purchase that gift. They also advise make sure that the gift is age appropriate. Sometimes it's difficult to tell online. They also warn against counterfeit gifts or knockoffs that could disappoint a little one, especially around the hot holiday wish list items like things like Barbie and Ken and also Paw Patrol. And finally, a lot of kids like to make those wish lists online via an app or some other online site. Make sure that when they do that, they are not giving away too much personal information. You want them to be happy and safe this holiday season, Dan.
Or buying them without your knowledge. All right, Karen Kaifa, we are thankful for you and that live report. Happy Thanksgiving. On Wall Street, stocks closed higher Wednesday, keeping the markets on track for a fourth straight weekly gain. The Dow Jones Industrial Average climbed to 185 points to close at 35,273. The NASDAQ Composite Index added 66 points. The S&P 500 finished up 18 points. Financial markets will be closed tomorrow for Thanksgiving, but open for a half day of trading on Friday. New applications for unemployment benefits dropped last week, remaining near historical lows as the job market remains solid. Initial claims fell to 209,000, while the number of workers seeking an additional week of unemployment assistance fell to 1.8 million in the week ending November 11th.
Now, WAAY 31 Storm Tracker Chief Meteorologist Taylor Knust with 31 Triple Doppler.
Busy travel day and very chilly here in these parts.
Yeah.
I will say it was kind of shocking this morning.
Yeah, and
just through the afternoon,
I know,
frankly.
it just hasn't changed all day.
No.
That's the thing. So definitely a heavy coat type of day for us here in North Alabama. Tomorrow is going to be one of our cooler Thanksgivings we've had in a little while, going back to about 2019, the last time. Wow. We've had highs in the 50s and lows in the 30s. So it will be a little bit of a change of pace compared to previous years. Nationally, pretty quiet. Look at the satellite and radar picture for the time being. So with it being the busiest travel day, that's great to see. The system that brought a lot of rain and even a little wintry weather across the East Coast is beginning to push out to the Atlantic. What we are keeping an eye on is a developing system in the northern Rockies that is likely to bring some pretty heavy snow from the northern Rockies down to Colorado, including Denver, over the next couple of days. So that will be one of the trouble spots here the next 24 hours with the higher impacts in the northern Rockies. But for the central and eastern part of the country, really looking awfully quiet for the next 24 hours. So should be good to go for any travel plans you have late today or during the day on Thanksgiving as well. And that includes us here in North Alabama. 31 Triple Doppler is free of rain. We have had occasional drizzle and mist from time to time earlier today, but really most, if not all of us, are pretty quiet at this hour. We just have that lingering low stratus that's keeping us cloudy and awfully chilly out there today. It's 45 in Coleman, 47 in Decatur, 46 in Athens, where we have had some afternoon sun in the Shoals is where temperatures are in the low 50s at this hour. For everyone, it's noticeably cooler than this time yesterday, nearly 20 degrees cooler around Fort Payne. A cold night ahead with forecast lows close to freezing. I think we stay just above it in Huntsville with the forecast low of 34, but you might get a little frost to develop in spots on the grass, especially late tonight and early on Thursday. Some areas of fog will be possible during that time as well. We'll likely avoid frost heading into the rest of this week after tomorrow morning, but early next week, Monday night and Tuesday night, we are forecasting lows near or just below freezing, so more of this cold weather is expected to stick around as we wrap up the month of November. Here's our day planner for Thanksgiving, and not looking too bad. It will be warmer tomorrow thanks to more sunshine than what we've seen today. That should warm us up to the mid-50s for most of us. Tomorrow afternoon, winds will be light, and we should be dry across the board tomorrow. 57 to high in Decatur. 55 in Guntersville and 58 the forecast high in Scottsboro. We'll see similar highs in the coming days as well. Dry weather, but increasing clouds during the day on Thanksgiving. I'm still monitoring a slight chance at a few showers late Thursday night, early on Friday, but the latest data is trending drier, so I really think most of us are going to end up missing out on that rain chance as we head to the beginning of Black Friday. Saturday's going to be a dry day, just some high-level cloud cover moving in, but should be dry beyond that. And then our chance for rain is actually increasing a little bit for Sunday. We'll call it a 30% chance of some light showers moving through during the middle of the day on Sunday. Nothing too dramatic, but rain possible as a cold front passes through as we wrap up the holiday weekend. Once that front passes by, it is going to cool back down heading into next week. So as you head back to work next week, you can anticipate some chilly highs in the low 50s and a handful of overnight lows near or below freezing, including 30 degrees next Monday night.
Below freezing temperatures return.
About that time of the year.
Yeah, it sure is. All right, thanks, Taylor.
You bet.
Can you figure out that our temperatures just can't stay consistent? We're up and down, and there's a reason for that. We'll talk about the polar vortex right after the break in Anello Answers It.
Willcox Ice Cream is recalling multiple products because of potential listeria contamination. The Vermont-based ice cream company says the bacteria was detected in a batch of mint chip. The voluntary recall includes several other flavors as well: ice cream bars, yogurt, and some of Leonardo's brand of gelato. So far, no illnesses have been reported. Alabama's looking to win its 4th straight Iron Bowl, and you can still get tickets to Saturday's game in Auburn as the Tigers host Alabama. The cheapest tickets we found are upper deck seats on StubHub for $177. Similar tickets on Vivid Seats were priced at $197.
Well, our temperatures just can't seem to get a grip. We've been above average, at average, and below average all within a week or so. Now, part of that is just North Alabama, and there's several contributing factors, but one of the main ones is called the polar vortex and how it relates to the jet stream. The polar vortex is an area of especially cold air called an air mass that sits right near the poles, hence the name. And it's almost held in, so to say, by the jet stream. The jet stream resides right between the warm and cold air where there's a pressure gradient. That's where that line sits. Now, most of the time that maintains what's called a zonal flow, where it's mostly parallel, to the equator. However, this time of year, the jet stream starts to weaken, which means it takes on what's called a meridional flow, where it has troughs and ridges, or high highs and low lows, looking more like a roller coaster than it is like a parallel line. Now, of course, when the jet stream weakens, that allows that Arctic air from the polar vortex to push south to right here in the Tennessee Valley. Now, when it goes back up, we'll warm up, and then when it returns south, we'll be cold again. Take a look at our high temperatures for the last several days. We've been above average and just at average. And for the next 7 days, today we're below average. We'll rebound just slightly to normal and then go back below average yet again. So if you have achy knees, a headache, or a sniffle, well, that could be the reason why. That's all for Anello Answers It this week. If you have a weather question, be sure to email it to me at gianello@waytv.com because I would love to hear from you.
A looming threat of a volcanic eruption forces a town in Iceland to evacuate. How the volcano is already impacting that area. Plus, weather in some places could threaten travel plans over the Thanksgiving weekend. A look at the travel trouble hotspots next.
And thankfully staying dry and good travel conditions across North Alabama this afternoon. I'll walk you through your Thanksgiving weekend forecast coming up next.
Coverage you can count on. This is WAAY 31 News at 4:30.
I'm Storm Tracker Chief Meteorologist Taylor Knust. A chilly and cloudy Wednesday across North Alabama, but skies are expected to clear later on tonight. I'll show you how low those temperatures are expected to drop coming up.
Millions of Americans are traveling for the holidays. Will the weather stand in their way? Details on what could be a record-breaking season. Some bands from North Alabama will be on national television for the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. We spoke to some of the band directors about their inclusion. Thanks for staying with us for WAAY 31 News at 4:30. I'm Dan Schaefer. Marie Waxel has the evening off. Chilly today, turkey tomorrow. We never made it out of the 40s on this day before Thanksgiving. Let's check in with Storm Tracker meteorologist Taylor Knust with a cold Turkey Day forecast.
That's good. I like that.
I crack myself up sometimes. I'd forgotten that I'd put that in there, and it just kind of struck me as funny.
Yeah, no, I got a good crack out of that too, so well done, well done. All right, it is cloudy, chilly. We actually have a wind chill out there this afternoon. 38 is what it feels like in wind chill right now. 43 our actual temperature in Gunnersville. A steady north breeze just adding to that cool factor out there this afternoon. Wind chills elsewhere in the 40s for a lot of us, feeling like 40 in Fort Payne and feels like 43 in Huntsville. Actual temperatures just a few degrees higher than those wind chills, sitting at 46 in Athens. Current temperature of 51 in Muscle Shoals. Going to be a chilly evening for those of you heading to the Galaxy of Lights at the Botanical Gardens. Temperature steady in the 40s. I expect the cloud cover to stick around for another few hours, but later this evening, the sky should clear out. And as that happens, we're going to see the temperatures really drop, eventually down to the low and mid 30s late tonight. So it's going to be a morning where we might have a little frost on the windshield, and there could be a few areas of fog early in the day. Most of your travels tomorrow should be just fine, and it will be warmer with some sunshine and temperatures climbing to the 50s. I'll walk you through our next rain chance in North Alabama coming up in just a little bit.
All right, thanks, Taylor. Stay ahead of the weather by downloading the WAAY 31 Storm Tracker weather app. You'll get access to the latest weather updates and 31 triple Doppler. It's free weather coverage you can count on. An update now on breaking news in that deadly crash at a major New York border crossing to Canada. New York's governor just said there is no sign at this time that this is tied to terrorist activity. Governor Kathy Hochul says the driver was local to the area where the car went airborne and exploded at a checkpoint at Niagara Falls. 2 people in the car died. The car was headed toward the bridge on the New York side. The Rainbow Bridge remains closed for the investigation and to make sure this bridge is structurally sound. Well, thanks to the rain, North Alabama no longer under a total burn ban, but we are still under a fire alert. And that means one-day burn permits will be issued to certified burn managers only. Some counties to our south and east, as you can see here on this map, are still under that burn ban. New information on a condemned Colbert County killer's execution. A federal judge set a hearing for December 20th on Kenneth Smith's motion to block his nitrogen gas execution. It would be the first such execution in the nation, and Smith is now challenging this new method as a potential violation of the Constitution's ban on cruel and unusual punishment. Smith is set to be executed January 25th for the 1988 murder of Elizabeth Stennett. More new information just in. Huntsville police are looking for a man in connection to an overnight homicide. Police want to talk to William Gonzalez. He is a 24-year-old Hispanic man who may also go by the name Chino, Kevin, or David. Police want to talk to him about a homicide that happened late Tuesday night on Cobb Road. A DeKalb County man is in the hospital after being assaulted by another inmate. Joshua Keene was injured in an attack Monday at Easterling Prison. Keene is serving a 20-year prison sentence for drug possession. The prison system is now investigating. New at 4, we're learning about a Homewood police officer charged with sexual assault in Limestone County. Investigators say Officer Ronald Hughes met that victim on the dating app Hinge and traveled from Blount County to the victim's home back in August. After the investigation, the warrant was issued for Hughes' arrest. He turned himself in. He's now out of jail on a $10,000 bond. We'll have more on the incident tonight on WAAY 31 News at 6. New at 4:30, potential access to medical marijuana in Alabama back on track. And we are learning the Alabama Medical Cannabis Commission has come to terms on an agreement with companies that had sued them. WAAY 31's Matt Paskowitz joins us live in the studio now with the latest on this new development.
Well, Dan, a lot still has to happen before the commission attempts to award more licenses for a third time before the end of the year. First, the commission must ratify the settlement at its upcoming meeting this Monday. Once that is done, the commission will then toss out scores from a third party used to try and award licenses previously. Those scores from the University of South Alabama were at the heart of lawsuits filed over the licensing process. And again, this is not the first time the licensing process has been held up due to legal challenges after the state legislature made medical cannabis legal back in 2021. And there is still a lot of work to do before people here in Alabama can get legal medical cannabis. And of course, we'll stay on top of developments out of Monday's commission meeting in Montgomery. In studio with coverage you can count on, Matt Paskowitz, WAAY 31 News.
Thanks, Matt. A pivotal hostage deal between Israel and Hamas terrorists is expected to be put into motion as soon as tomorrow morning. Hamas has agreed to release 50 women and children the terror group is holding and others. Israel has agreed to release 150 Palestinian women and teenage prisoners. It comes with the start of a 4-day ceasefire. President Biden touts the deal as a testament to diplomacy. But some human rights and humanitarian aid agencies are pressing for more humanitarian relief.
This is not humanitarian access, it's a joke. I mean, we need more, we need to have access to the population.
Israel has said it's open to extending the pause by 1 extra day for every 10 hostages Hamas releases. Israel's prime minister says the war will not end until Hamas is eliminated and all hostages are returned. New at 4:30, it is the mad dash of travelers hitting the roads and taking to the skies ahead of the Thanksgiving holiday. And the number of travelers is expected to break records this year. ABC's Rena Roy has the latest.
Millions of travelers navigating their way through airports across the country, with Thanksgiving travel hitting its peak Wednesday. The TSA expecting to screen more than 2.7 million passengers.
You just have to prepare for the worst and hope for the best.
The FAA says more than 50,000 flights will take off today alone, many making sure to play it safe, giving themselves plenty of time.
I like to come early. I felt there might be a couple million people coming through the airport over the next week.
The busy travel period could also be impacted by a severe storm moving across the country, and that snow and rain may affect the millions expected to get behind the wheel.
The demand is definitely there to travel. Today will be the busiest travel day, especially out there on the roadways.
But the silver lining, gas prices are down on average about 35 cents from the same time last year.
And a timing tip from experts for your drive home from the holiday. Be sure to avoid the roads on Saturday and Sunday between 3 and 5 p.m. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
New at 4:30, Alabama will be front and center with the world watching tomorrow morning when Alabama A&M's marching maroon and white leads off the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. As WAAY 31's Georgia Clark shows us, they won't be the only ones from North Alabama in the spotlight.
The band director's marching band will be right behind Alabama A&M's marching maroon and white, with quite a few of our local band directors marching to the beat. I spoke with a couple of these directors, and to say they are thrilled is an understatement. After marching in last year's Rose Bowl parade, Riverton Intermediate Band Director Mary Ellen McBee crossed a huge parade off her bucket list. So the invitation to return to the band director's marching band at the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade came as a welcome surprise.
And we're getting to march through the streets of New York, and I can't be more excited.
This is her 24th year of teaching music, and after tragedy struck her life, she says it's her students that kept her teaching.
Back in 2015, my husband passed away. And I was out of school for many weeks, and the fact that my band students helped each other, taught each other, kept music going was the reason that I decided not to quit.
McBee will have some of her students there cheering her on and a longtime friend marching with her.
So I've got my best friend who's in Michigan teaching music. She's going to be marching. We were drum majors together at Hazel Green, and we haven't marched together since high school. So that's exciting.
Over at Columbia High School, this is band director Shellman Miller's first year joining the band, and he says it's a balancing act.
More excited than nervous. I have a little bit of music to learn while also balancing and managing my own band.
With 21 years of teaching band under his belt, he says watching the instructors take instruction will be interesting.
The directors who are used to giving instruction are now on the student side being told what to do and where to go and when to be there. I'm curious to see how that plays out because, typically they say teachers make the worst students.
You can watch the Band Directors Marching Band and these North Alabama band directors marching their way through NYC tomorrow morning at 7:30. With coverage you can count on, Georgia Clark, WAAY 31 News.
And while the holidays are meant to be cheerful and fun, it could also mean a lonely and stressful period for some. The National Alliance of Mental Illness says 64% of people living with a mental illness felt their conditions worsened around the holidays. The best thing you can do is simply talk about it with someone. There are resources right here in North Alabama that can be accessed 365 days a year, including the Wellstone in Huntsville. Big Spring Park is getting right into the Christmas spirit with their annual Tinsel Trail display. Over 400 trees will decorate the park for the holiday season, and each tree is reserved and decorated by a local business, group, or family. The president of the Downtown Huntsville Inc. says it'll help introduce folks to the businesses of downtown.
Important because I think it helps drive activity to downtown. It helps create opportunities for people to be introduced to new retail, new restaurants, walk the trail, then get to go experience some of the different offerings downtown has to offer.
He also says he loves seeing the creativity of businesses decorating their trees. And while you're down there, check out the WAAY 31 Christmas tree and those collector's item ornaments featuring some of your favorite anchors and storm tracker meteorologists. First responders in Russellville need your help collecting Christmas toys for children in need. Both the fire and police departments will take those toys through next month. You can find a full list of drop-off locations on our website, waaytv.com. Families in need can also pick up an application for assistance at the Russellville Police Department. OpenAI CEO Sam Altman was ousted last week, but has now been reinstated. Why he's back after the break.
Coverage you can count on. This is WAAY 31 News at 4:30 with Dan Schaefer, Marie Waxel, and Chief Meteorologist Taylor Knust.
Ousted OpenAI CEO Sam Altman returning to the company just days after his abrupt firing. Altman has been at the helm of OpenAI, overseeing the creation of ChatGPT since 2019. He's been outspoken about the potential of artificial intelligence, but also a warning of the risks. ABC's Melissa Adon has the latest.
OpenAI CEO Sam Altman is returning to the company.
This will be the greatest technology humanity has yet developed.
Altman was unexpectedly fired by its board of directors on Friday, claiming he had not been candid in communications with them. Following that decision, he immediately joined one of OpenAI's largest investors, Microsoft, to lead a new advanced AI research team. And nearly all of the OpenAI staff, 725 of approximately 770 employees, threatened to walk out and follow Altman to Microsoft if the company's board didn't resign and Altman wasn't reinstated. The company now saying we have reached an agreement in principle for Sam Altman to return to OpenAI as CEO. The board of directors claimed Altman had not been candid in communications with them.
When a company's reputation is really staked around people loving the CEO of that company, what happens then if they're gone and then they take everyone with them?
Altman saying he is looking forward to returning to OpenAI and building on their strong partnership with Microsoft. Melissa Adon, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Small business owners are gearing up for the biggest shopping weekend of the holiday season. While retail giants like Amazon and Walmart hope for big profits on Black Friday and Cyber Monday, Governor Kay Ivey has declared this Saturday Small Business Saturday. According to the new American Express survey of small business owners, more than half, 55%, anticipate Small Business Saturday will make a significant contribution to their overall holiday sales this year. After the holiday rush, it'll soon cost more to send a package via the U.S. Postal Service. USPS says the changes include Ground Advantage, Priority Mail, and Priority Mail Express. Prices are going up just over 5% starting January 21st. That's an increase of between 25 cents and $1.25, depending on the shipping choice. Iceland is under a state of emergency as the country braces for what could be another monstrous volcanic eruption. The town of Grindavik has been evacuated. You can see massive cracks in the roads caused by pressure from magma steams under the community. Authorities warn an eruption here is highly likely and anticipate hot lava could soon consume the town.
Now, WAAY 31 Storm Tracker Chief Meteorologist Taylor Knust with 31 Triple Doppler.
Meanwhile, cold today here across North Alabama as we anticipate the holiday weekend, but skies are starting to clear out a little bit.
Yeah, out in the shoals, getting a little late day sun. Probably won't be so lucky here in Huntsville, socked in the clouds, but we will get sunshine to help warm us up a little bit by tomorrow afternoon. So not quite as cold for the actual Thanksgiving day itself, but the day before, it's been an awfully cold one with temperatures stuck in the 40s from start to finish. We are currently at 47. In Huntsville, a wind chill at 43. So yes, we are dealing with wind chills across North Alabama thanks to a light north wind around 10 miles per hour. Down to 43 in Guntersville, 46 in Scottsboro, a little bit warmer where there's been some afternoon sun at 51 degrees in Muscle Shoals. But everyone is about 15 to 20 degrees cooler than this time yesterday. That cooling trend continues this evening. We'll stay in the 40s through 9 o'clock. And as the skies clear around that time, that will allow us to really start to cool down late this evening and overnight tonight. Down to the 30s tonight, and we're looking at low 30s for most of us. It's going to be close to getting to the freezing mark. I think a few of us will get there, down to 32 in Fort Payne, Athens 31, Moulton forecast to drop to 32 as well. Now, with that in mind, there is a possibility of course, some frost to develop, but also the possibility of some freezing fog. Freezing fog is basically fog that occurs when the temperatures are at or below freezing. That's not going to be a widespread issue tonight, and even for those locations with forecast lows below freezing, it's only going to be like an hour or two that we are actually near or below that freezing mark. But nonetheless, I want you to be aware there could be a few slick spots, most likely on overpasses, on bridges, that could pop up early tomorrow. Once we get after 8 o'clock, I think that threat for any slick roads or frost will come to an end. Sunshine helps us warm to the mid-50s by tomorrow afternoon. Future radar from tonight through tomorrow shows a clear start to the day on Thanksgiving, but clouds will fill in as we head toward the afternoon. Then there will be that slim chance at some rain on late Thursday night and early Friday morning. Our latest on future radar has taken away that rain, and I think it's unlikely that most of us get rain. There could be a few light showers south of the Tennessee River, but any threat for rain will come to an end by mid-morning on Friday, and we should actually get some sunshine by Friday afternoon. So those of you looking ahead to the Black Friday forecast, you can expect largely good conditions for anyone planning on doing some shopping. Again, a stray shower with some 40s in the morning, warming up to near 60 by the afternoon. Big picture as we head into the rest of this holiday weekend, there will be a snowstorm impacting the Rockies, the Central Plains up to the Great Lakes from Friday through Saturday and early Sunday. The southern warmer edge of that system will bring us a chance at some showers on Sunday during the afternoon. But as far as Saturday is concerned, it's going to be dry across the state of Alabama. So the good news for those of you heading to the Iron Bowl, kickoff at 2:30, and you can expect temperatures at the tailgate warming to the low 60s, and we'll stay in the low 60s for the first half of the Iron Bowl on Saturday, cooling to the 50s for the second half of the game over in Auburn. After that, we will trend cooler heading into next week. 10-day forecast shows several highs in the 50s from start to finish next week, and some chilly lows down to the low 30s beginning on next Monday night.
As you said earlier, it's going to be that time of season where we're starting to see freezing temperatures.
Almost to December, so it's about right.
Thanks, Taylor.
You bet.
College in North Carolina is hosting an exhibition of Bob Ross originals. Why they say it's the largest in the world. New at 4:30, North Carolina is experiencing the joy of painting through a special exhibition. Wesleyan University in Rocky Mount is hosting what it calls the world's largest exhibition of Bob Ross paintings. It features more than 70 works from the Joy of Painting host. The show taught viewers how to paint as Ross created works of art in 30 minutes in real time. The exhibition is open through the rest of the year. Those massive balloons are getting ready for the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Volunteers are starting to inflate those balloons right now. The director of media relations says there are over 4 dozen giant balloons in total that will be shown off during the parade. Thanksgiving, of course, all about family, but veterinarians warn you should watch which Thanksgiving treats you're feeding your dog. They warn turkey bones, ham, and stuffing are all considered toxic for man's best friend. But those vets also say your dogs can enjoy other parts of the Thanksgiving feast. They say turkey meat, sweet potatoes, and pumpkin are safe. Happening today, a day before Thanksgiving, it's National Cranberry Relish Day. The relish version is a little different from the traditional cranberry sauce. It uses fresh cranberries blended in a food processor with sugar instead of being cooked. And a fun fact, cranberry relish lasts up to 2 weeks in the refrigerator and up to 3 months in the freezer. Coming up next on WAAY 31 News at 5, an update to a mass shooting in Louisiana back in April. How a struggle with a mental health illness played a role in that shooting.
Coverage you can count on. This is WAAY 31 News at 5.
I'm Storm Tracker Chief Meteorologist Taylor Canus. A chilly and cloudy Wednesday, day before Thanksgiving. I'll let you know when we can expect sunshine and warmer temperatures to return to the area coming up.
Today is one of the busiest travel days of the year. WAAY 31's Xavier Wary gives us a live look from the highways as people try to get to their Thanksgiving destinations. Another big concern this Thanksgiving is mental health. What one health expert says you can do to help those struggling with this holiday season. Thanks for joining us for WAAY 31 News at 5. I'm Dan Schaefer. Marie Waxel has the evening off. A cloudy and much colder day across North Alabama. Let's check back in with Storm Tracker Chief Meteorologist Taylor Knust. See if this chilly weather is going to stick around for Thanksgiving. Taylor?
Yeah, it certainly will in the morning, Dan. By the afternoon, though, it's going to feel a little bit nicer tomorrow compared to what we've had to deal with today. We've been socked under the cloud cover all day long in Huntsville and Decatur, as well as Guntersville. Muscle Shoals did manage to get a little sunshine this afternoon, but it didn't help us warm up too much. At this hour, everyone in North Alabama is in the 40s. It's 46 in Scottsboro and in Huntsville. Same story for Athens, and chilly 45 degrees in Coleman. We're only going to trend cooler from here through the remainder of this evening. The clouds likely to stick around for another couple of hours and then should clear around 8 or 9 o'clock this evening. From that point through the rest of the night, clear, calm, and chilly conditions expected. We'll fall to the 30s starting around 10 o'clock this evening, and eventually down to the low 30s we go overnight tonight. 32 your forecast low in Fort Payne, 31 in Skyline, 31 in Ardmore, down to 34 tonight in Falkville, 32 in Moulton, and down to 33 in Florence. Cold start to Thanksgiving for sure. May have to deal with a little bit of frost on the windshield early tomorrow, but also some areas of fog are possible. If the fog coincides with those sub-freezing temperatures, freezing fog could be the case and may cause some isolated slick spots early on Thanksgiving. I'll have a look at your forecast highs for the holiday and the rest of the weekend forecast coming up in a few minutes.
All right, thanks, Taylor. Today, we've been telling you, is one of the busiest travel days of the year, with TSA, that is, predicting millions of people hitting the airports and many more on the roads over the Thanksgiving break. WAAY 31's Xavier Wary is in the WAAY 31 Storm Tracker, monitoring traffic locally. And Xavier, how's it looking out there right now?
Yeah, hey, Dan, we've been on the road since about 3 o'clock, and I tell you, there hasn't really been anything out of the ordinary for us, and right now we are currently on I-65 heading north. I'm going to go ahead and flip the camera for you all so you can see what's in front of us, and it has been pretty easy going, I would say, on the road. We were heading south towards Falkville, and there was really no traffic to report coming down this way, and once we made the U-turn and heading back north, as you can all see right here in front of us, things are pretty clear. And again, we haven't really seen a whole lot on the road so far, but that doesn't mean that things will not pick back up later on. Of course, we will be in the storm tracker for the next few hours, and if anything pops up, of course, we will all let you know live on air. Dan, back to you.
All right, so it stays that way. Thank you, Xavier. Make sure you're prepared for whatever Mother Nature throws your way by downloading our WAAY 31 Storm Tracker weather app. You'll have live weather updates right in the palm of your hand. It is free for all devices. Authorities are investigating a vehicle explosion on the Rainbow Bridge near Niagara Falls on the U.S. side. Video reviewed by authorities shows the vehicle entering the bridge before speeding up and crashing into a checkpoint. At this hour, we know at least 2 people in that car were killed during that explosion.
This is obviously a very serious situation. The government of Canada is taking this situation extremely seriously.
Right now, 3 points of entry between Canada and the U.S. near Niagara Falls remain closed. A Morgan County family gets justice over a 2020 triple murder. Carson Peters pleaded guilty to capital murder. He'll serve life in prison without parole. It's for the murders of his wife, Teresa, his sister-in-law, Tammy Smith, and Smith's boyfriend, James Miller. They were killed in Danville in 2020. The district attorney says the family's wish for closure and Peter's age led him to broker this plea agreement.
And as you all know, the appeals process in capital murder cases in the state of Alabama takes literally decades. And so just doing the math, I figured that it was very likely that Mr. Peters would die in prison.
Peters will be transferred to state prison in the coming days to serve his sentence. A Homewood police officer faces sexual abuse charges in Limestone County. Investigators say Officer Ronald Hughes met the victim on the dating app Hinge. He traveled from Blount County to the victim's home back in August. After the investigation, a warrant was issued for his arrest and Hughes turned himself in. He is now out on a $10,000 bond and on administrative leave. Developing now, Huntsville police are looking for a man in connection to an overnight homicide. Police want to talk to William Gonzalez. He's a 24-year-old Hispanic man who may also use the names Chino, Kevin, or David. Police want to talk to him about a homicide that happened late Tuesday night on Cobb Road. New at 5, we're getting a new look at a mass murderer's battles with mental illness and why he planned a deadly shooting at his workplace in Louisville, Kentucky. Back in April, Connor Sturgeon killed 5 co-workers at Old National Bank before being killed by police. Louisville police just closed their investigation and released his journal. He wrote in it that he decided to make an impact, saying, quote, "These people did not deserve to die, but because I was depressed and able to buy guns, they are gone. Perhaps this is the impact for change." He wrote a letter to his parents where he said, quote, "Hopefully the lives lost tomorrow can save some in the future. Please do what you can to help others and to stop the sale of WMDs to psychopaths like me." His file revealed he had attempted suicide before and spent time in a mental hospital. Sturgeon graduated from the University of Alabama back in 2020. As we enter this holiday season, mental health is something that can be overlooked and underrepresented. WAAY 31's Paige Meyer spoke to Wellstone, a behavioral health care provider here in Huntsville, about what this time of year may mean for some people. Paige?
Dan, a recent study shows that 1 in 3 Alabamians face mental health issues. Now, I spoke with Karen Peterson at Wellstone today. She says that mental health is an issue all year round, but says that the holidays can be a stressful time for many. Now, Peterson says we are all touched by mental illness, even if we ourselves don't struggle personally. She says the holidays can bring up past experiences like family losses and broken relationships, which could trigger mental breakdowns. Peterson says even if people are surrounded by their loved ones, they can still feel alone.
We can all take care of our neighbors, our colleagues, our even more distant family members or church members, and just check on them. How are you? How are you really? And just make sure that, when you're out and about, you don't know what somebody's going through. Somebody may have a big old smile on their face, but inside they're going through something really, really sad and dark.
Peterson says when people feel they have nowhere else to turn, they can turn to Wellstone. Now, if you find yourself in a crisis this holiday weekend, you can dial 988 for the Wellstone Emergency Line or contact Wellstone Emergency Services directly. Now, for more information on additional services, you can head to our website at WAAYTV.com. Reporting live in Huntsville with coverage you can count on. Paige Meyer, WAAY 31 News.
Thanks, Paige. The Madison County Sheriff's Office is using a new method to catch utility trailer thieves in the area. They're calling it a bait trailer. It's where they park several utility trailers throughout the county and conduct 24-hour surveillance on them. Within 2 weeks, deputies were able to arrest 4 people for theft. The Madison County Sheriff's Office says more arrests are possible. The Limestone County Sheriff's Office needs your help finding this woman. Deputies say she is a suspect in a shoplifting case that occurred on September 3rd at the Dollar General in Owens. If you know the identity of the woman in these pictures, call the Limestone County Sheriff's Office. After weeks of negotiations, Israel and Hamas have struck a hostage agreement. That agreement calls for Hamas to release around 50 hostages. That in exchange for Israel agreeing to release 150 Palestinian women and teenagers held prisoner there. Hamas says the pause will allow hundreds of trucks of humanitarian relief, medical aid, and fuel to enter most of the Gaza Strip, where living conditions are worsening.
I am very hopeful that there will be a pause. These hostages will begin to be released.
President Biden is calling the hostage deal a testament to diplomacy. He also says he will be in close contact with leaders of Egypt, Israel, and Qatar to ensure all aspects of the deal are fully implemented. Possible good news for drivers filling up at the pumps over the Thanksgiving holiday weekend. Gas prices could drop even more. That's following a 4% plunge in oil prices today after a scheduled upcoming meeting of the biggest oil-producing nations was delayed. The oil cartel member nations were expected to discuss further cuts to global supply at the OPEC Plus meeting. That meeting now postponed until November 30th. November is Native American Heritage Month, and we are highlighting some indigenous communities boosting the U.S. economy. A White House Tribal Nations Summit scheduled for next month is expected to discuss economic progress in and issues facing indigenous communities. In today's Consumer Watch, we take a closer look at how how it impacts all of us.
Members of America's indigenous communities are working hard to preserve their heritage and boost economic output.
A lot of our communities, they are the #1 employer in a region.
According to the National Center for American Indian Enterprise Development, tribal governments and their enterprises are seeing great success in building sustainable economies rooted in their cultural values, employing thousands of workers and generating billions in dollars in state, regional, and federal economies. And the organization's leadership says there's a growing effort to increase that success through intertribal trade and collaboration by creating new businesses and generating more jobs.
Those tribes are supporting states. They're supporting local economies. Many of our tribes are involved in tourism.
Next month, President Joe Biden is set to host leaders from some of the 574 federally recognized tribes at the White House to discuss ways the federal government can invest in and strengthen Native communities. Meanwhile, some communities are prioritizing continued self-reliance. One example is the Indian Nations Conservation Alliance, which created an intertribal exchange app that allows anyone to share and trade goods and services in a digital marketplace.
It empowers Indigenous people around the world to really add items and create abundance in their area.
Another example, an effort led by Native Hawaiians. The nation of Hawaii is signing peace and friendship treaties with federally recognized tribes to support each other and to amplify their economic and social goals worldwide. For Consumer Watch, I'm Cole Higgins.
One local nonprofit is making sure the homeless community feels loved this holiday season. How they were able to make this happen. And the Salvation Army in the Shoals is asking you to consider seniors in the area this Christmas. Organizers looking for more angel tree adoptions.
I'm Nikel Williams. Break-ins are what many people fear when they go away for the Thanksgiving holiday. How Lauderdale County deputies are going the extra mile to protect people's homes from burglars tonight on WAAY 31 News at 6.
Coverage you can count on. This is WAAY 31 News at 5 with Dan Schaefer, Marie Waxel, and Chief Meteorologist Taylor Knust.
almost time for millions of families to come together for Thanksgiving, but what about those who have no family to gather with? WAAY 31's Jillian Kay met with one woman experiencing homelessness to hear her story and learn how a local nonprofit is making her feel loved this holiday season. Jillian?
One woman tells me that the holidays aren't always the happiest time of the year for some, and you know that's because a lot have lost someone they love.
It's not fun being homeless. It's not fun being out here.
Miranda Vaughn's husband died 5 years ago. She says that loss hits even harder this time of year.
I have no family to spend the holidays with.
Miranda says she lives in Huntsville's homeless encampment called The Slab and says she's actually one of the lucky ones.
And it hurts just to see a lot of these elderlies out here being sick and not be able to get help. I mean, they should be out here in this cold.
Nonprofits like Shower Up provide people with the basics, such as clean clothes and a place to shower. But Miranda says sometimes all she needs is someone to show that they care.
It means a lot because growing up, I didn't have really a family that cared about me. I didn't have a way of anybody showing me what love was.
Now, Miranda asks that you show a little love to someone this holiday season and lend a helping hand because you just never know what someone is going through. Live in Huntsville with coverage you can count on, Jillian Kay, WAAY 31 News.
Good lesson. Thanks, Jillian. The Salvation Army of the Shoals needs your help with their Angel Tree program for seniors. About 90 senior citizens are waiting to be adopted. For $50, the seniors will get a food package and some small gifts. Salvation Army says the process is simple and really goes a long way. The Salvation Army in the Shoals has angel trees set up locally at the Florence Mall and 4 other local businesses. The deadline to adopt a senior is December 5th.
Now, WAAY 31 Storm Tracker Chief Meteorologist Taylor Knust with 31 Triple Doppler.
You know, we had the storms move through yesterday, but on a national scale, we seem to have lucked out pretty well here on Thanksgiving for travel.
Yeah, busiest travel day today, and all things considered, it definitely could be worse this time of the year.
Now, we may see some issues coming home in a few days.
That's right. So we'll walk through that potential for a snowstorm in parts of the country later on this weekend. But right now, the national view, pretty quiet. You'll notice some of those pinks and purples around the Rockies. Those are winter weather advisories in purple and winter storm warnings in pink because there is a developing storm that's going to bring quite a bit of snow to that part of the country, including Denver, starting tomorrow, continuing through Friday and Saturday. Some of that will track across the central U.S. afterwards, so areas like Kansas City, St. Louis, maybe Chicago could get a little snow by Saturday and early on Sunday. But otherwise, yeah, we're looking awfully quiet. Just a few lingering rain showers along the East Coast. Here in Alabama, it's been dry. Next 24 hours, forecast looks fairly quiet for the central and eastern part of the country. Travel issues along the northern Rockies as snow starts to form, but locally here in Alabama, we are dry and quiet, but it's been a cloudy and cold day, that is for sure. 31 Triple Doppler is dry and going to stay that way for the rest of the night tonight. Temperatures have been stuck in the 40s all day long today. Only 46 in Huntsville. We're at 45 in Fayetteville and 44 degrees in Fort Payne. That's quite a bit cooler than this time yesterday. About a 15-degree difference for many of us in northeast Alabama. Down to 34 we go tonight. Skies are going to clear out this evening. We will be clear, calm, and awfully chilly late tonight and early tomorrow morning. Cold enough for some frost and the possibility of some areas of fog to kick off the day tomorrow. We have additional cold nights in our future, maybe not so much late this week or through the weekend, but early next week, forecast lows are back down to the low 30s, and it's possible some of us see some 20s for overnight lows by next Monday night. As for tomorrow, that cold start gives way to a decent afternoon. Some sunshine returns for us tomorrow, and that will help us climb to the mid and upper 50s on Thanksgiving afternoon. 58 tomorrow in Scottsboro, 57 in Decatur, and 59 tomorrow afternoon in Muscle Shoals. Over the next few days, not a whole lot going on here locally, which is good for your travel plans. Clouds will be increasing during the afternoon through tomorrow evening. We move ahead to Friday morning, and the chances of rain at that point are dwindling. Only a 10% chance for rainfall in Huntsville and most of North Alabama. And if we do get those showers, they would be early in the day on Black Friday. If you have any plans to do some shopping or anything else on Friday, most of the day looking pretty nice. Saturday's going going to be dry as well. Clouds will start to fill in during Saturday, and then on Sunday, our rain chances are climbing a bit as a cold front will be moving in from the west, giving us a chance at some scattered light showers at that time. That's not going to stick around too long, and rain totals, when it's said and done, will stay below a quarter-inch. That looks to be our best chance at rain for the next 10 days. Drying back out with some sunshine early next week, but it's going to be awfully cold with temperatures in the low 50s and overnight lows down to the low 30s. We'll be right back after this.
Alabama A&M University's Marching Maroon and White Band will kick off the 97th annual Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade tomorrow morning. WAAY 31 anchor Demetria Green shows us the work the band put in to be honored with this spotlight performance.
The Marching Maroon and White's band director, Carlton Wright, says leading off the parade is a significant moment for the historically black university. And he told CNN Today that the 256-member band has been preparing for the parade performance since September. The band boarded buses Sunday for the trip to the Big Apple. The excitement reaching a crescendo for these proud members of the Maroon and White.
Feels like a dream come true. It's my first time going to New York.
Once the band arrived in New York City, they immediately began final preps for the big performance.
Just trying to be prepared, for the big day, so here we are.
And listen to this. The band has a 2 a.m. call time tomorrow morning. It's to go over its 75-second nationally televised performance. So Wright told CNN the performance will have a hip-hop twist to it. So we will definitely be cheering them on Go Bulldogs, and way to represent North Alabama. With coverage you can count on, Demetria Green, WAAY 31 News.
That's for sure. Thanks, Demetria. The Huntsville Havoc hitting the ice this Thanksgiving. They'll face off against the Peoria Rivermen at the VBC's Probst Arena. Puck drops at 7. You can help the Havoc celebrate Thanksgiving by throwing teddy bears onto the ice after the first goal. Another check on the forecast now with Taylor.
It's an early wake-up call for Alabama A&M marching band.
2 a.m. going to be pretty chilly up there in New York City, I imagine.
Not going to be horribly cold for them, thankfully. They're looking
good.
at 40s tomorrow morning up in New York City, so it's certainly been worse in past years.
That's for sure.
Yes.
And the wind is usually the big issue with those balloons.
Yeah, doesn't look like that'll be too strong either. So should be cooperative there. Weather cooperative for us here in North Alabama as well. Cold start to your Thanksgiving tomorrow with morning temperatures in the 30s, but we're in the mid-50s by tomorrow afternoon with a good amount of sunshine. Spotty showers early Friday. Better chance that a few more showers comes our way by Sunday afternoon.
WAAY 31 gives you 24/7 coverage you can count on. Local news, breaking news, and severe weather. You can watch WAAY 31 on all of our streaming platforms and download the only weather app with 3 live Doppler radars. World News Tonight with David Muir starts in just a few minutes right here on WAAY 31, and we'll see you back here at 6.